it's not going to need to, the pan doesn't have to be the size of the bone and everything. It'll be okay if the bone's hanging over a little bit.
Oh, okay, good.
So.
There we go.
All right. So, hi, everyone. We're live on Facebook. This is the virtual cooking class, interactive, fun. So basically, I'm going to walk you through the steps. We're going to cook together. You guys can make it alongside me. And if you have anything you want to ask about, anything you want to see, you can actually hold your camera right to what you want to show me, and I can see it, and we can make it together. So it's a ton of fun. A great way to go about it. We have Brian from our IT is going to be spotlighting videos and going all over. Today's meal kit is a pork chop with peppers. The peppers are vinegar peppers that we made. So we took bell peppers and we marinated them in vinegar for about a week. We also threw a pepperoncini in there. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Pork chop is a beautiful, what's called a tomahawk pork chop. It's a long bone where they left some of the extra bone on. These are Snake River Farms pork chops. If everyone that wasn't on already, if you could preheat your oven to 375, and while we're talking, you can kind of start to unwrap all your ingredients. I'm working out of the exact same meal kit you are. So everything should be exactly the same along the way, except yours will probably look and taste better than mine. So we can get started. You guys, at any point you have any questions, just hop right in and start talking and we can go through it. All right. So some things people don't know about pork is that there are different grades of pork. If you can see in this one and the ones you have at home, there's this really amazing marbling in there. It's this gentle fat that's going to dissolve away while we cook it and also keep it super tender when we eat it. The fat on the top, this fat cap, on a high quality piece of pork is going to eat deliciously. If you don't want it, of course, you could cut it off, but if you leave it on, it's not going to be that gristly, tough fat. It's going to be succulent. It's going to be juicy. It's going to add a ton of flavor to the dish. So I'm going to angle the camera downward a little so you can see my board while I'm doing this. And we can go through the steps of breading the pork chop. So get yourself 3 containers. Could be bowls, could be anything. One, we're going to put flour. The second one, we're going to crack those eggs and put them in. And if you haven't mastered the one-handed crack, you should start practicing. And you want to beat those eggs up with a fork. The flour and eggs mixed together are kind of the glue for our breading process. And they're going to help everything stick together and help those breadcrumbs stick onto the pork chop. All right. And now for the third step, take the Panko Bread Crumbs, both those containers of cheese, a little bit of the salt, just one liberal pinch.
1 second, Kev, for catching up.
Yeah. I'm going to start throwing pots and pans.
All right, 1 for breadcrumbs, 1 for flour,
Another container, right?
and then mix the breadcrumbs and the cheese in another one.
The breadcrumbs, the cheese, a hefty pinch of salt, pinch of black pepper, and about 1/3 of that granulated garlic we gave you.
Cheese, salt, pepper.
Does breadcrumb and cheese go together?
Breadcrumbs, cheese, granulated garlic, salt, and pepper all go together.
You need a bigger bowl.
Yeah,
Both cheese.
Do we use all the garlic?
No, just about 1/3 of it. We're going to use some later in the sauce as well.
Chef, what does that granulated garlic look like?
Yeah. What's garlic look like?
The brown powder.
brown powder.
What container is it in?
In a small black container.
How much?
I think I know which one it is.
Yeah, this is cheese.
One more.
Is that four?
This is garlic.
Is it 4 servings?
How much of the garlic?
About a third of the container.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
Man, Mark, you're gonna have some issues cooking with all that wind behind you.
But with me?
All that wind and that fresh air.
Yeah.
garlic cheese?
Is it 4 servings?
Wait, which one? So it's
That's
the,
Hold on. Garlic, cheese, and breadcrumbs, right?
That's garlic cheese.
And a little salt and pepper.
Do we use all the cheese?
There's
Yep.
6 types.
We have 2 more eggs. No?
Salt.
recommend that you-
Put a pin.
All right, I'm getting there. And the-
What's this green thing in there? There was 1 container of cheese, right?
There are 2. There's a powdered one and a shredded one.
Powdered what?
Cheese.
So one's Romano, the grated cheese, and then the shredded cheese is Parmesan.
Hold on.
All the cheese goes in, Mike?
Yes, sir.
I only had 1 cheese. Session.
That's all right.
It's TP. Don't hold this way. Garbage left. Put that in the garbage.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So let's talk about bread in the pork chop. I'm going to angle this down again. Now, this is what's called a 3-step breading process. You'll see this in a lot of recipes. But basically, you want to evenly coat your pork chop on all sides. We're just coating the meat, not the bone, with the flour. And you don't want a heavy caked on amount. You just want a light dusting. And then what's going to happen, you want to shake that off a little bit. And then once you put it into the egg, you're making basically a glue. Okay, let me know when you're at that point.
Yep. So it's the flour then.
So it should look like this. It's a nice even coating of this flour and egg glue.
Ooh, yummy.
There you go. Take it out.
All right. Now we're going to take it and actually go into the breadcrumbs. Okay. So I do a light dip on all sides. And then I'm going to take my hand and actually put more on top and press it down to make sure that I have a good solid coating on there. Because this is going to be the crust and all that wonderful texture in this pork chop once it's cooked.
Got it.
And you could do this technique with chicken. You could do it with fish. You could do it with shrimp. Do it with vegetables. A lot of places, when they make their eggplant parmigiana, do it like this. And then we are done with the flour, egg, and breadcrumbs. Now, the next step is we're going to preheat our pan to a medium-high heat. And then we'll talk about this for a second while the pan heats up.
You put any oil in the pan?
We will, but when you do it, you want to heat your pan first. You want to allow that metal to expand, and then we put the oil in, and that'll kind of fill the ridges
Hi.
and keep it from sticking as much.
Yeah.
And there's oil in here, right?
Yeah, there is. There's a big container of oil. We're going to use about 2/3 of it for cooking the pork chop.
Okay.
our last one, Michael. Hang on.
And you guys all look so stressed out.
We can't even pick up our drink.
Oh,
Jeez. This is serious.
It looks
yeah,
good.
I breaded my hand.
It's okay.
I think we have more than one oil.
We can probably have one for each.
Is there
Yeah.
one oil container for each?
There's one oil container for each. Now, those of you doing more than one pork chop probably won't need all this oil, meaning both containers. What you want, and we're gonna go over to the stove in a second, and I'll show you. The pork chop should be breaded and look like this.
We're good.
All right. Yeah.
Good?
That's just,
Oh my God, you guys are all hired. This is gonna be great. I don't have to cook for you at all anymore once we're done with this. What am I gonna do with my time? All right, got a clear view of my pan, right? So I'm gonna add my oil, and I want enough oil that there's a good pool at the bottom, okay? You wanna see a little bit of smoke and some ripples in the oil, but you don't want it smoking like crazy. And the way we're gonna check for that is you take your pork chop, you shake it over the pan. The breadcrumbs should start to sizzle when you shake it like that. If they're sizzling, then it's ready to go in the pan. If they're not sizzling,
The oil?
How much oil? Should I make
about 2/3 of the container.
Yeah, you want to like make a little,
I don't have a big container. All right.
and then shake the breadcrumbs.
Yeah, just put it. It's not gonna be ready. Sentence. Oh.
All right. So I'm shaking my breadcrumbs. My oil is starting to sizzle. If you put your pork chop in before your breadcrumbs are sizzling in there, it's gonna stick and the breading's gonna fall off. You need that hot oil to kind of create that crust and all that egg to cook to hold it together.
All right, we're heated up.
Chef, if we had to, do we do one at a time?
If you need to, you could do both. Just make sure that both aren't butting up next to each other, because then again, that crust will steam and it'll fall off.
Looks good, right?
Okay, so I put my pork chop in, and as you can see,
I'm sizzling?
we got some sizzle there. Beautiful thing. Okay.
Not sizzling yet.
No, not sizzling.
All right, take your time. There's no rush.
What's in here?
for the sauce.
Who like this since we have this?
I was like, why?
Do you have any other?
Oh, wow, you're looking cute.
So once you put your pork chop into the pan, you want to get something to dump this excess oil into, because we're going to dump that oil out before we go in the oven. As you can see, we're starting to brown a little bit here.
I'm doing that.
We get another pan?
You can use another pan. You can use just a bowl if you want, or anything.
How long we doing on each side?
Till it's done.
Okay.
It depends on the heat. So you want this nice color, if you can see it there, that beautiful golden brown. And it's going to brown even more. So you don't want to take it super, super dark, because when we put it in the oven, it's going to continue to brown. So I've gotten it brown on one side and brown for about a minute on the other side. I'm going to dump this oil out and put this whole pan just like this into the oven. I'll be right back. I'm going to throw this in the oven while you guys catch up.
Which one was the first?
I'm just starting to sizzle right now.
Hopefully the breading doesn't fall off.
If it falls off, you're fired.
Yeah, we're on the hot seat.
No, you're not.
Chef, do you turn the pork chop over? I missed that.
Yes. So once it's golden brown on one side, you flip it over, let it cook for about 30 seconds to a minute. You dump that oil out and put the whole pan right in the oven.
done.
Sorry.
You can-
My pan thing for the sauce, you know.
why don't you ask?
So
See
we
now, what's that?
we have 3 in one pan, and then we're waiting to do our other one in another pan for it to get hot.
That's okay. That's all good. See, the nice thing about doing these virtual classes is you get to drink. A lot of times when you're doing interactive classes, you don't get to drink at home now. You can pour yourself a cocktail. You can wear your slippers. Fantastic. I'm jealous.
I'll be right back then. Hold on.
All right. So
do we flip it too early?
let me see. No, because it's going to continue to get color in the oven.
All right, sweet.
Thank you.
Good job.
So you can dump that oil out and go right in the oven.
Right now? Okay.
Dump it into that little-
No, you need to drink.
That's great. And you can have now you said oil anymore?
What's up with this bowl? So we can mix it out.
While those pork chops are in the oven, we're going to get onto our sauce. So let me know when you guys are ready. We're going to walk through the ingredients and start building the sauce.
Dump it in the sink. Throw it in the oven.
Ah, I'm exhausted.
It's a lot of work.
What?
It is in a very tiny kitchen too.
Yep, absolutely. This is fun though. This is great. I love that I can
That's
see
good.
what you guys are doing if you have questions.
Smells good.
All right. So now take a look over at my board here. These are the rest of the ingredients you should have. We have garlic, white wine, the remaining oil, the remaining granulated garlic, salt and pepper, dry oregano, butter, the vinegar peppers, and chicken stock. So this is everything we need to make this sauce. First thing we're going to do is take the garlic and just slice it.
Ow.
Now, once we get going, making this sauce is super simple. The only 2 steps of actual knife work we have to do is we're going to cut that garlic and we're going to slice these peppers. You can slice these peppers to whatever thickness you want. I like to pull the seeds out, which you could just tear them out by hand. And then you can either rip them or you can slice them. The pepperoncini, I like to leave whole. Some people like to julienne them, cut them into slices, but it's completely up to you. And then we're going to use some of this pepper juice that's in the container. We're going to use in the sauce because that's going to add a lot of acidity and a really awesome flavor.
Wait, what do we do with the peppers and stuff?
So take the pepper, pull the seeds out. You just rip that right out. And then you're going to cut it. So you can cut it into pieces about that thick.
Oh, like half?
Yeah, half or 3 pieces, whatever you prefer.
I'll let you do the rest. Where do you want the garlic? Where are we putting this garlic?
We're gonna put it in the pan in a second. So let's get our pans heating over a medium-high heat.
New pan?
This background's ridiculous. Can't see
I know.
what we got.
It's so weird. You guys keep coming in and out of the picture.
Yeah, hang on.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, it does.
All right. Do we have our garlic sliced and our pan heating up?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna move this completely over to the stove so we can share the view again.
My sous chef is pouring a glass of wine for
Perfect,
me.
as he should be. Okay, so now we're not gonna use all this oil. You're just gonna use enough to coat the pan.
Is this a fresh
See?
pan?
I got it.
Yes, a fresh pan. So just enough oil to coat the pan. And then I'm gonna add the garlic. And the garlic should be sauteing, but it shouldn't be ripping hot where it's like turning brown right away, because that's gonna give a bitter flavor. You want it to be that softer simmer so that it brings the sweetness out.
Now, what's the trick of not burning garlic?
Just do your pan over a lower heat. I mean, and give your pan more time to heat up. I mean, if you think about it, my pan was heating up for a good 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So once your garlic starts to become golden brown, we're gonna add the wine.
Oh, honey, you have to open these little things. I can't open
You know which one that is?
them. It's the wine.
How many wines?
There's two per pork chop.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
That's why we have so many.
All wine.
Those 4 little things there. I can't open them.
Could have been drinking
Yeah, it was one for the recipe and one for you.
them. One for me, one for the pan.
All right, so we're gonna reduce that wine down by half. It's gonna go pretty quick because there's so much
Dad?
open syrup. Yes.
Can you slow down just a little bit? I'm still slicing peppers.
The wine.
Okay.
Wait, what happened?
Are we supposed to put the wine in now once the garlic's browning?
Yep, and that's gonna stop your garlic from browning, and then let that simmer down to about half. It's gonna basically boil for a minute, 2 minutes. That's it.
You gotta get it more left. Here, you gotta help. Lexi, you gotta help back up on here. Lexi.
You know, it's funny when you take a cooking class in person, there's maybe 15 people in the class and, you know, not that many people you know, so you don't really get embarrassed. Now, I mean, there's thousands of people watching, so no pressure when these pork chops come out of the oven.
Hey, chef, we're getting a lot of bubbles.
That's okay.
Is that okay?
Is all the wine in?
Not yet. It's spraying.
Yeah, so you want to pour all the wine in. What's happening is your oil to liquid ratio, your oil's too high, so it's still frying. The more liquid you add in, it's going to stop.
Should we keep the heat the same?
You could actually take the pan off the heat if you're worried about it.
Oh yeah. How do we know which one's the wine? We have two.
Those are both wine.
Pour both
There's-
in.
Correct.
Pour them both in. So it'll help.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Got it.
Okay. Everyone ready for the next step? Lynn, you ready?
No.
It's because you're drinking that wine instead of ripping your peppers.
I'm not. I'm not even drinking wine. Maybe that's the problem.
That is the problem. All the great past chefs, all the old French chefs were drunk on white wine.
Where's everyone going? You can't.
Cheers.
All right. We're going to keep going with the sauce.
Okay,
So
so,
now-
I'm putting the wine in now.
Yep. And now once the wine's reduced down, you're going to pour this chicken stock in. Once the chicken stock's in, turn the heat all the way up and let this boil.
What's that chicken stock? Is
What's that?
Yeah, a little bit longer.
Is it this stuff?
it frozen?
Yeah, it's a little icy. We made it and froze it.
What's that?
The chicken stock.
One per chop.
One per chop.
Okay, our pan may not be big enough. Then.
Wait a minute. I just poured my wine in. What do I do next? And
You're
it's
gonna-
splattered all over the place.
Let the wine boil for about a minute and then pour your chicken stock in. And then you'll be all caught up.
Do we need to flip it in the oven?
I'm going to go check it right now and let you guys know.
Okay.
So You can see here with the pork chop, I just pulled it out of the oven to check it. Flip it over, you have a gorgeous brown color. I'm gonna put this back in the oven
you
for
do that?
probably about 2 more minutes, and then it should be done.
Don't wash your head when you come up.
Like to do that if you
Okay. So now the chicken stock's at a rolling boil. We're gonna
No,
add
not yet. Not yet.
If you stare at it, it boils faster. A little trick
I
about
know.
boiling pots.
I just put it in.
That's all
I
right.
don't understand the mess I had all over my.
Did you turn the heat? You can turn the heat up all the way now.
Okay. So I have the chicken stock, the wine, and the garlic.
Correct. And that's it right now.
Oh, okay. And I'm waiting for it to boil.
Correct.
Should I get the the pork chops out of the oven?
While you're waiting for it to boil, take your pork chops and just flip them over and then put them back in the oven.
keep them.
Yeah, keep it.
The sous chef can do that.
There you go. Now you're delegating. Now we're going to be
Well,
efficient.
now the poor man just had to wash the entire kitchen floor.
All right. So now we're at a boil. We're going to add all the oregano, about a third or about half of what you have left in garlic powder or in granulated garlic. We gave you guys extra so that you can keep this to see the difference between granulated garlic and garlic powder, because garlic powder is much finer and granulated garlic has a more roasted flavor. I much prefer it when I'm cooking. About a liberal pinch of salt
Wait, what is this?
and a pinch of pepper.
Okay, say
have the oregano.
it again.
Did you throw one away, sweetie?
We're not boiling yet. We're not boiling yet.
Yeah.
Up here, and you did all the 3 ones.
Yeah, I don't have any oregano.
What are we looking for? Granulated garlic.
Oregano, salt, and pepper.
Thank
Lynn,
you.
what
Yeah.
about these?
Oregano, you guys, is right.
That's garlic. That's
Oh, garlic.
garlic.
Are we putting in all 4?
Yeah, but you're only going to put half of the garlic that you have left, and then you're going to put in a hefty pinch of salt and pepper.
Okay. How much oregano?
About half a tablespoon.
Salt? Oh, you gave us salt?
Yeah,
Yes.
Where's the granulated garlic?
I'm going to use that as a panko. Hang on.
We might have used the granulated garlic
Right,
and the
here it is,
panko.
here it is.
Oh,
You were supposed to use some in the panko.
Here we go. I did save
Ew.
some. There we go.
Okay.
hold on.
The chicken stock is boiling, so the oregano.
Half of the remaining granulated garlic, and then a pinch of salt, pinch of pepper.
Okay, I already put the garlic in. Oops, it just went on the floor.
Oh.
Oh gosh.
I'm going to grab my pork chop out of the oven because mine's done. Your guys may not be. I'm cooking on a convection oven, so mine will be done probably a little faster. I'll be right back.
The sauce is really thin, right? Yes. Like a broth.
All right.
Chef,
Yes, ma'am.
the sauce is really thin like a broth, right?
Yeah, it's going to boil down. It's going to reduce down. So you can see
Oh,
already,
okay.
mine's been going a little longer. It's thickened up. The reason it's going to get thicker is because we make the chicken stock in house and we use certain parts of the chicken bones that add a lot of gelatin. So as it reduces down and the moisture leaves, it's going to be a really rich velvety sauce.
Yeah, that was boiling.
Oh god.
So I'm going to show you guys the next step, which
When the pork chop is done.
you can either use a thermometer and it should read 140 degrees or higher, or you press on it near the bone and it should be pretty firm. Like if you make a fist and you press here, a tight fist, that's what it should feel like. Okay. So, okay, I'm putting the chicken stock back in. Mine is reduced down by about half. I'm gonna add the peppers,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm gonna add the butter.
Did you do that stuff yet?
The salt and pepper, yeah.
And now what we're looking for at this point is this butter to do what's called emulsify into the sauce. So that gelatin is gonna kind of fuse with the fat in the butter, and it's gonna make a thicker,
Well, I'm
rich
gonna wait a
sauce.
second.
to put down the pork chop.
Yeah, I do need the butter, but let's put the top back on it.
Where's
what I
the
said.
cat?
Where's
Step
that?
one. Put it in the stove or? Go get it. Go get
Why
it.
me?
Go.
Like me.
I don't know which one it is.
Oh, yeah.
Little brothers.
Maybe we can.
We need to pull them out.
I think we should use all the butter. Should we use all 4 butters for our 4 pork chop?
Yes. You mean you get to use all 4 butters?
What's that?
You get to use all 4 butters.
Exactly. That's a
That's
lot.
right. We look done?
We need to transfer to a bigger pan, so we'll need a couple seconds here.
Okay, I'm gonna show you guys what this sauce is looking like here. If you can see those bubbles in there,
What do you want?
they're thick. It's a reduced sauce. You see how when I turn it, it kind of moves slowly in the pan?
Pink.
That's what we're looking
Well
for.
done.
No, but I don't want them raw either.
No.
Maybe another couple of minutes.
So what does that? Just the heat? You can let it reduce?
If that's from reducing, and then once it's reduced, the butter actually mounting in.
All right.
All right,
Oh,
so,
no, take them out. They'll cook while they're in the pan. They're fine, yeah.
okay. So I'm gonna take my pork chop and put it on the plate here. Did you guys put your peppers in already?
No, no.
No,
Yes.
Throw them in when you throw the butter in. I mean, it smells amazing.
So yeah, a lot of great flavor.
Into the sauce.
Right in the sauce, just like this. Peppers and butter.
We love the flavor profile, chef.
I do too. I love vinegar in my cooking. I cook with a lot of acid.
This sauce is much less.
Huh? This is-
Oh,
Are you ready?
do we put some of that vinegar in the sauce?
Yep, a little bit of the juice in the sauce as well. Just about a tablespoon or 2. Vinegar does similar things as salt when you're cooking. So the acidity in the sauce is going to actually cut through the fattiness of the sauce and the richness and give a really wonderful mouthfeel.
So how much for 4 would you
Of the juice,
use? Yeah.
about 3 tablespoons. So I have my peppers on the plate. I'm going to pour this sauce right on top.
That looks so good.
Boy, you need a platter.
Well, no.
You guys can see. That is exactly what yours is going to look like.
That's great.
I'm going to
Oh,
come
it's
back up.
beautiful.
You need a platter.
You do a platter. You can use I don't know. Put it on the hood of your car.
Yeah, I was gonna say something big.
But it's all because the bone. You know, you can do this
Yeah.
with boneless pork chops. You can do this with normal sized pork chops. I love the big dramatic presentation of the long bone.
Yeah.
Now, one thing
No,
you're
it's
looking for.
beautiful.
One thing you're looking for with the sauce is see how it's not moving a ton on the plate. It's because it's that consistency. It's called nappe. When you can
Right.
run a spoon through it and it just moves slowly to come back together. That's the perfect consistency. Now, if you take your sauce too far, what's going to happen is going to get like a bubbly, greasy look to it. That's okay. You add a splash of water, it'll come back. You won't need a lot, but what's happening is just like when the oil is frying and popping, your fat to water ratio is off. But I mean, this looks great. You guys are probably going to be ready to start plating up too, right?
Mine's still thin. My sauce is still very thin.
That's okay. Just let it boil down.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
still
With
producing-
the butter, we're putting the salt, oregano, and pepper, right? That's it?
And granulated garlic
Oh, granulated garlic. Okay.
and the vinegar peppers.
Yes, we'll bring those in. Did you put the granulated garlic?
I love this dish.
Is it in the restaurant?
It will be. It'll be on the next Wigwam menu.
All right.
Okay.
So when can we come in and get it?
When you can come in.
Hey, we're 4 blocks away. I can come in anytime.
Yeah, right?
It was funny. I walked over today to pick up my groceries, and there was this gorgeous big box, and I looked and I went, I walked. So we took it all out and put it in a bag.
Oh, good. It's a great service. I'm happy we're able to provide
It's wonderful.
that. So, and it's been a ton of fun. I mean, these cooking classes have been a blast. I have the brisket smoking right now for tomorrow's chili class. So many people have signed up for that one that I have 11 briskets cooking right now.
Oh my gosh. We thought about that, but then I thought it would be more fun to try to do something I'd never, this sounded really good.
Yeah, it's fun. Now you got a new technique. I mean, you've seen how to 3-step bread, how to pan fry, how to mount butter into a sauce. I mean, there's a lot of things that can be used in other recipes too.
Hey,
So
Chef,
anyone? Yep.
Side question.
Yes.
We got the lamb.
Nice.
How do we make this?
You want to email me? I'll send you some notes.
Okay, that'd be awesome.
Okay, perfect. Because that's a much deeper conversation. But you are gonna love that lamb. That's from Slagle Farms. Slagle Farms is just premier. I mean, it's incredible. That's the same lamb we serve in the Wigwam.
Okay, I'll shoot you an email.
Jeff,
Perfect.
are we going to have an Easter dinner?
I don't know because we have to be closed to the 30th. So I think we're doing carryouts. Not carryouts. Carryouts. I'm putting together a carryout menu right now for things you can order: pans of lasagna, roasted beef tenderloin, eggplant parmigiano, all sorts of things like that. So you can actually have Easter at home. We're making calzones, different salads.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So we want to make sure that we're giving as many services as possible. So that'll be nice.
Oh, okay, it's not done.
How about, what do you think?
That's right.
You know how to wrap it up.
It's going to take forever for this.
Mark, how's that sauce smelling?
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pull the pork chops out of the oven. They look
Wait,
great.
should we be sauteing? It's on high, bring it down to medium to low?
For what? Let me see what you're working with.
Hold on. Assistant, can you help me? Wait, where's the camera on this?
No, leave that on high. You want that to
That's
reduce
the
on
way-
high to crunch down.
That's the way mine looks too.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
cool.
There we go.
Okay, so leave it on high for a while.
Yep.
Thanks. Mine looks the same way.
Yeah, it's just you just have more stock in there, so it's gonna take some time to reduce down. That's all.
Yeah.
But it will get there.
Okay. And we have the juice from the peppers. Throw that in there now, or
You can
wait?
throw it in. You can throw it in right now.
Do it.
No, yes. And that was the olive oil. I didn't know I put olive oil. I thought it was something else, but I used it in
We'll be
Matt, you
back.
guys ready? Matt, are you guys ready to go on the plate?
A couple more minutes.
Like, there's
Yeah, we're still reducing, so I turn the heat up more.
Cool.
I do too.
Yeah, you guys can be full blast right now on the heat.
Okay, yeah, we're on all the way high.
It's boiling like crazy.
Good.
Yeah, I've got some more here.
There's
Put it in the little salt tray. That looks very professional.
Mom, this is another empty one.
What's that? Empty?
Basically.
Okay.
So next week's meal kits will be coming out in a few days. We're gonna be doing some sort of a Taco Tuesday thing. We're gonna pair it with Juan to do a drink.
Okay.
We're gonna keep having fun and changing up the menus because this is
Oh,
a blast.
super.
And you guys were great. Do you have any more questions on this?
Well, we were trying to figure out how you do it because we got 3 people running around trying to get it done. And you're very easy behind the stove there.
Well, I do it a little more often than you do.
I have to admit, I had everything spread out all over my very small kitchen.
You know, I used to do like competition cooking, and the biggest thing was having everything lined up perfectly, ready to just go. And even when we do these cooking classes, I line all my things up with the recipe to know that I could just grab and keep moving. This way, if you guys have questions, I'm not losing my step as I go about it.
Chef, could I make a suggestion? We had so many things that maybe somebody would write on the outside of each one of the containers what it is.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Yep.
For sure. And absolutely, I love that idea.
I mean,
When's Taco Tuesday?
put the stuff together. So many-
What's that?
Put all this stuff together. How many people are helping right now?
Oh, yeah, great.
It's just 2 of us.
Oh, yeah.
We're social distancing. We're doing everything we can to keep ourselves safe as well, so you know we can be responsible through everything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is a lot of work. Thank you.
It's our
Yeah,
pleasure.
it was huge.
Yeah, it's fun though.
Hey, chef, can you send over 2 big platters?
Oh, this looks so good.
We don't have a plate big enough to make it look as good as yours.
That's okay. The bone could be hanging off the plate. I mean, that's great.
It's gonna be.
Hey, Mike, thanks. That was awesome.
Did you like it?
It looks great.
Good. Well, go enjoy it. Have a drink with it. Eat up. Kick your feet up and relax. I mean, you're ready at home. All you gotta do is, I guess you gotta clean up. That's not very fun, but that's okay.
He cooked
Yeah,
up.
We've done pretty good with that. Mine is still bubbling. Anybody else's?
It's gonna take some time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're making a bigger batch of the sauce, so it's gonna take a little bit longer.
So silly question. We have a lot of the egg and the flour and things left. If we have some meat in the fridge, we can just utilize this and put it in the pan. What do you think?
You could, you know, the health department doesn't necessarily recommend mixing from pork into other meats. So it's kind of frowned upon. I mean, if I was at home personally, I'd probably do it because you're going to cook it anyways, but health guidelines say not to.
Okay, that's why I asked. Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate
Thanks, I'm ready.
You ready? All right.
How's it look?
Oh,
Unbelievable.
No,
so
show us your
Shot of
pan.
it?
Oh, goodness.
Show me your pan.
All right,
move the computer, baby.
all right, I'm moving.
Show me your pan.
Show me the pound.
All right.
Let's see the pour.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Okay, we're almost there.
I love the plate too. It looks great. That sauce, that sauce looks wonderful.
Fabulous.
Looks beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks
All of
awesome.
the sauce? Yeah, throw it.
Yeah, dump it all on.
There's
It's not a beautiful display as yours, but I bet it tastes as good.
Oh, those peppers are great. I mean, they make the whole dish.
Should the peppers be pretty tender too at this point? Like
They're, you know, they were tender when you started, so they're not, you know, they're pickled in the vinegar liquid, so they're going to be tender no matter what.
okay.
You do want them to have a little bit of toothsomeness to it, some mouthfeel. So
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, since we're cooking 4 things, it'll take slices down or
that's right. That's right. So, any other questions?
No, I think we're good.
No, we're good, Chef.
Wait for the reduction.
Thanks, chef.
We're good.
All right, you guys enjoy. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining. I hope to see you soon for another meal kit. Okay.
See you next week.
Beautiful job. It looked wonderful. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.